All right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. We got 20 minutes till the open. I just got home. Let's kick this stream off. Good morning, guys. How are we doing? You're noticing a little bit of a lack of energy from me because I was at work last night. Woke up about an hour and a bit ago and just got home. So let me get my morning coffee in and then we'll be back to business as usual. Definitely got some things going on. I just got my ES and YM charts above me, so if you see my mouse moving like this, it's because I'm on my upper monitor. I got this guy below or above me. Okay. As it stands so far, I mean, the week has kind of just opened up bearish, right? Continuation off of Friday's move. We saw some SMT at these 630 highs yesterday, resulting in a 930 dump, followed by a PM continuation. We created some more SMT at this 1245 high at 115. Consolidated a bit, led to another dump into these AM session lows. So we're more or less seeing the market go from internal to external. Now, what I'm kind of seeing right now, right, is we've taken sell side liquidity. We do have some high time from SMT forming at this low specifically. We also have YM trading below this low of the month already. Now, this SMT here is from February 3rd. This would be a 10 p.m. candle. And most recently, we see London session trade lower. And then we have actually formed some consecutive candle SMT on the 4-hour here between 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. You can see ES and YM both have taken that low. And NQ has formed equal lows. The result of that has been the formation of a 15-minute breaker. We have Asia highs still intact. So what I'm thinking is I want to see this Asia high get tagged, truthfully. What I can see here, though, right now is we do have SMT at this 1 a.m. high. This 1 a.m. high is not exactly the most, how do I say, significant high. It's not really, it's, paired with this Asia high liquidity. I'd rather just see the entire consolidation get taken out. I'd like to see NQ take it, ES fail to. I'd like to see ES fail to take it because it has already framed some SMT and engaged with a previous 4-hour high of this consolidation. Wouldn't hate to see that. And then if we can continue lower into this breaker, maybe into the low, who knows? That's one option that we could see. Or we could see 930 drop us down into here, create some SMT down here, whether it be on a consecutive candle basis or with this 530 low or rather 5:45, 6 a.m. low, to then continue higher. Now, something like that. So I'm not really, too sure right now. I'm kind of 50-50. That kind of just tells me I just need to kind of sit and just wait a little bit. We have the open here. In terms of news today, we have orange folder at 10. We have two orange folders at 10. We also have FOMC members speaking today at 11:45 and 1 o'clock, respectively. This CB consumer confidence, it's orange folder. It used to be red. I know that for a fact. It could be just orange this week. Maybe it just doesn't have as much impact, but we'll see. Nonetheless, it's going to be a news driver, and it should provide some sort of move. On a most recent 15-minute candle basis, we've got no SMT or anything kicking around at these lows. You could say with YM at this 815 low here, but I mean, it's kind of gross. I'm not gonna lie to you. YM is just off in la la land still, so I prefer to see SMT with ES. Most recently, with this 1 AM SMT, I should add that we have formed this 5-minute breaker. This 5-minute breaker, if you use standard deviations of it, 2.5 lines up with this 15-minute breaker that we have annotated. I can see it going down there. Is this something that I'm willing to take? No, because if I'm taking a trade pre-market, I need to see some heavy confluences in my favor. I need to see, a nice SMT, preferably with like a session high or low, or double SMT where we have SMT with a liquidity pool and also on a consecutive candle basis, something like that. This doesn't really strike me as something that I really need to jump on. Because who's to say that we can't open up at 9:30 and raid this high and then go lower, right? There's no concrete, decision that I can make based off of how we formed this high. Right now, it's looking bearish. I'm not exactly going to jump on it though. I'll be patient. I took a loss also. I tried my hand at an overnight trade. Anticipated that this 15-minute breaker was going to form and actually entered inside of this IFVG on the 15-minute, and I was anticipating a run higher. Now, obviously, very obviously, we didn't form that breaker, right? Forming the breaker would mean getting above this high here. I was already asleep by like this time, so I would just let it go. I wasn't, gonna micromanage it. If I'm in the position, if I'm in the position, I'm in the position. So I didn't really see any evidence other than that post trade to see why it didn't work out. So I'm -1R for the day already, coming off of that long from Asia. That's fine. I don't think there's a world where I wouldn't have taken this. I didn't love the time, but we also had PDL SMT. So, it's kind of a toss up. You kind of have to, when you're trading higher time frame, and I don't mean 15-minute as in it's like a high time frame, but it is higher than what I usually trade. And typically, if you're trading higher time frame, time doesn't have as much of a factor, right? You can see reversals form at this time. I've seen it happen, especially when we have SMT at a previous daily low, So anyway, -1R for the day, looking to remain patient, looking to catch to sit on my hands until I see something exactly what what I need to see. Not forcing anything today. I want to end this month nice and strong. We got just about 10 minutes till open. Just checking in with my community. Appreciate the transparency. Yeah, I don't get why it's such a big deal to share that you lost. Like that's what I'll never understand that. I will absolutely never understand why someone cannot just say I lost a trade. Like losing is 100% part of trading. It's a very common thing too, right? So the sooner people can get over their ego and just admit that they're not perfect and that perfection doesn't have to exist in order to be profitable, like you're going to have a lot easier time. You're not going to have to hide behind closed doors, you know, tiptoeing around, trying to hide the fact that you took a loss, etc. Like fuck, it's just bothers me. Or like people that will hide the bottom bar here, like gosh, losing is a part of life, so it exists in trading pretty much everything else. Exactly. If you don't know what, like, you need losing to know what winning is, right? You need good to understand bad, right? They're polar opposites, but you need one with it. One does not exist without the other, right? If you're winning all the time, which is impossible, then you effectively will just not learn anything. You get a sense of hubris. That's pretty much it. Your ego will be inflated tenfold. So I appreciate that you appreciate the transparency, but honestly, that's if that's the bar, then this space is more in trouble than I thought because I don't see an issue with showing a loss. I don't think that showing a loss um, ruins reputation whatsoever. I think if anything, it strengthens it because I'm confident enough in myself to show, hey, I took a loss, but it's okay because I'll make it back. You know, I've taken losses on stream already in front of you guys, and like it doesn't bother me. That's my rant on that. And that's not speaking to anyone specifically. I think there's a lot of traders who are just, they just hide their losses. Morning, Eden. Thank you for tuning in. 7 minutes till open. Like I said, we're just sitting. We're sitting here. We're not too keen. If we had SMT at this Asia high here, oh, that would be a different story. Oh, would be different. Extremely bearish for the day. I just think there's a chance we sweep the high day first before taking lower day. Yeah, possible. Absolutely, we could run this Asia high, create SMT, and then get a sweet, tasty run into these ERL lows. Let's look on the daily and see kind of what we're dealing with. Like I see when I look on the daily, all I see is this. Like I see all of this down here. That would be lovely. If I could see like a low a year form in and around, down here or even down in here at 20K, like that would be, oh, that'd be so nice. This is all just a daily consolidation. So if we could set up like an AMD profile for the year, and I'm sounding a little bit, um, kind of not focused on the short term. This is really just kind of what I wouldn't hate to see for the year. AMD profile for the year. Accumulation, manipulation, distribution. How nice would that be? I'm thinking we can go to 16,000. Okay, well, let's relax here. that's that's way down here. You're talking about taking lows that have been balanced for a long time. let's just focus on the short term. Like, and by short term, I mean let's just focus on the consolidation here. If you're calling for 16,000, let me put this into perspective for you. That would be off the high to 16,000. I don't even have enough room. Let's see. 16,000, that's you're looking for a 29% retracement. Now let me ask you a question. Do you have a bunker in your backyard? That is, yeah. That's crazy. 29%. So this was like one of the biggest retracements we've had in the Nasdaq, and that was 33%. This was like a generational buying opportunity down here. Moreover, 2008 was 25%. That's a normal few hours in crypto. Yeah, you guys are built different. So I don't know about 16,000. If we go to 16,000, I will take out a loan for everything that I own, refinance everything, and go long. 16.6. Yeah, you're looking for that August low. You see this, probably. And then this. Like, there's nothing down here. This is all balanced, brother. Even this. Don't be a doomsday prepper, please. These markets are predetermined to go higher. They're predisposed to go higher. Not to sound arrogant or anything. I just haven't. I'm not looking that far down. There's nothing, there's not that much to prove it yet. We haven't even broken out of a daily consolidation. Okay, 5-minute breaker here has been pushing us lower. Let's keep an eye on what's going on here. You just engaged with that 15-minute busy. YM wants like nothing to do with those lows. I see T made me buy 200 cans of tuna last year. That's funny. The S&T on those lows telling that we don't have to go down there really. No, we don't have to go down there because we've moved like 7,000, 6,000 points off of that low. Like that's over 6,000 points off of that low. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Okay. Swept that low. Not interested in this, by the way. ES took that, has engaged with that same 15-minute fair value gap. This guy. YM has not. But YM just looks a little different to me. Remember the time Bray was willing to exchange everything in his life if his bias is wrong. What do you mean? Referring to like if we get to 16,000, I'm refinancing everything I own, getting as much money as I can to go long. YM trading above Asia highs now. NQ and ES doing the opposite. Let's mark out that 9:30 open. And let's lock in a little bit. Make sure that I got my handy dandy MNQ chart ready to go. NQ barking up the tree of this 915 low here. ES doesn't really want much to do with it. We're going to be creating some consecutive candle SMT here. See if we can tag into that breaker and create that consecutive candle SMT. So there's the SMT there. Now, you have your breaker here. I want to see us get lower though into that. This is a pretty big expansion or pretty big manipulation. So like this would really render this Asia high not exactly the draw. Probably have to go higher. What's YM doing? YM things. YM doing YM things. So we're inside of that breaker now. Still have that consecutive candle SMT with ES. That is, I really don't love that. But we tag 2 standard deviations at the 5-minute breaker. ES looks like it wants to giddy up. YM nearing its Monday high. Gonna be watching this guy here. So we're going to keep watching ES here because ES could be knocking on the door of that high. Mark out our Asia high here. Yeah, I usually enter on the M1. Yeah, we have SMT on the lows. Yeah, just don't see any proof for NQ. ES is, yeah, running away. If we invert this 15-minute or this 1-minute for value gap, I'd be looking for something like that. Preferably want to see us get above this for value gap and this 9:30 opening price, making this series of down close candles a 1-minute order block. Could be a 3-minute order block as well. It's kind of what I'm looking at. Standard deviations of that breaker. Curious if it takes us Where does this take us? I had previous daily range EQ marked up. Not quite. They don't quite line up. Morning, Jay. So we're seeing some key differences here, right? We're seeing ES, open up and run off higher. NQ is kind of stuck down here. We did trade into that 50-minute breaker. ES failed to. If this candle's gonna displace above here, I want to see it kind of behave, proper and not just run away on us. If it runs away on us like that, then we got to kind of adjust. Gotta be careful here. I can't. It's important not to be early. This is an up close candle, yes, but we want to watch for closures, right? Remember what we said? We want to see this IFVG get formed. See, didn't form it. No entry. Don't get tricked by a candle until it closes, right? Bodies tell the story. This says we're not ready yet. If you entered anticipating that was going to close and you didn't want to miss your entry, look at where you'd be now, right? You always watch for closures. We call that trigger discipline. The amount of times I've done that, trying to be cute, anticipating that a 1 minute candle is going to close, and then get absolutely dumped on. You learn through experience to have some trigger discipline. Just past 6 evals on that push up, 550Q. Taught me patience. I don't know how you enter off of there. Are you entering on the seconds time frame? Good job, brother. Yes, Addy, exactly. You're gonna save yourself a lot of pain if you just wait for closures. You're not missing nothing, right? But I understand exactly why that happens, right? You don't want to miss a move, right? And that's a normal thing. I don't like missing moves either, but you gotta kind of you gotta trust your system. Good job to Dale though for passing some evals. I'd like to see what your entry criteria was. Super interested. Because that's a scalp. That's definitely a scalp. See, now we're running lower again. Just looked at ICT's Telegram. He's talking about the same shit that I am. It's 9:30. He's looking at the wrong IFVG though. So ICT in his Telegram said this for value gap. So when you have this IFVG, sure, works great. Oh, let's keep an eye on this for a sec. Sorry to cut me off. Cut myself off here, but still looking for closure above this. That would insinuate that both of these breakers are going to be anticipated. And it's being a proper pain. So ICT wanted this 931 for value gap to form an IFEG. It did that, but what happened? It ran against your entry. When you have two for value gaps like this, okay, you want to take, and you're looking for buys, you want to take the higher one. You don't want to try to be cute. and look for the first one. It yields lower probability entries. Okay. You also want to take IFEGs only when they're nested with a breaker. So you see how these two consecutive up close candles here, that's your breaker. This IFEG, or this fair value gap, is residing inside of that. It's overlapping with it. That's what you want. So if you have multiple fair value gaps, you want both of them. You want the last one to get displaced before you take an entry. Are you picking the first fair value gap at the open? This has nothing to do with it being the first presented fair value gap. It's just, and this is just speaking as a blanket statement when taking IFEG entries. If you see multiple, you want both. You want all of them to be inverted, not just one. Take the PDRA and discount is what I always tell myself. Sure, but there's no setup here, right? This would be the discount IFEG, but it didn't displace above this one, right? When we're talking inversions, whether it's an inverted breaker, an inverted fucking fair value gap, whatever. I only use inversions for pardon me, fair value gaps, but you want all of these PDRAs to be disrespected. That's a sign that, we have sponsorship. So always got to watch for those PDRAs. Always got to watch for them. So what's going on? We're having trouble forming this breaker to go higher. That's troublesome. That's information that we need to take into account, okay? This is just a consolidation so far. This might dump lower. Because if this was ready to go, we have the SMT, we have the PDRA, we have the POI, we're in discount of this range here. But we've failed to displace. What does that tell us? It just tells us it's not ready. It's not ready chopping people to bits yet. Or it's not discount enough yet. Maybe we go take this low. And then we form along, and then we create SMT at this actual low. That sounds a lot better to me. We have 10 a.m. news coming up too. We have these highs up here. It's a possibility. I can't get short in here, so I'm not really looking for shorts. But 2 minutes before 15-minute breaker confirms. Yeah. You're also trading into a 15-minute breaker too, right? Like if this had different SMT, I'd be feeling a lot different about this 15-minute breaker. I'll say that. I'll say that. YM is pretty persistent about this, about wanting to close green here. In that 15-minute candle. These aren't London lows, but London lows have already been swept. 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. is your London session kill zone. These lows formed at 6. So it's significant liquidity in that it's a low of day. If we see SMT form at this low of day, then I can make a case for longs if it shows us. Yeah, breakers are my entry function. All of my entry functions revolve around breakers. I have a couple entry ways to enter, but they need breakers. Breakers are the key factor for me. Okay, so ES busted that S&T that we had with the 915 low. That makes me looking for this low here. News in 15, yep. I want this low to go. That 5-minute breaker printed. Oh, big stretch. Big stretch. Oh, that was nice. Just because it's volatile, guys, doesn't mean you gotta, engage. There's gonna be opportunity today. This just isn't a moment in time where there is opportunity yet. The only entry there was for me personally that I'm seeing is inside of this 5-minute breaker, or if you took the 1-minute breaker. But like that would have been a pain to sit through because look at all this. Okay, eyes peeled for this low, and then see what it does at that low. 10 a.m. news was downgraded. Yeah, I see that. We'll see. They've been doing that lots with these 10 a.m. newses. Those 10 a.m. news events, they get downgraded lots. Now, if we can see NQ take this low, ES engage with that breaker, that's something I'd like to see. There's that low. I'm gonna get rid of that too, for sake of cleanliness. That's your breaker as it stands. This swing high to this swing low. This 945 candle. -2 lines up with that Asia high. Oof, that's a lot of points. Volatility is back in full force. Took the short. Nice. This could also just keep dumping too. That's been the play lately. 9 a.m. sell off. That's what it wants to do, then that's what it wants to do. Then we frame continuation later or a reversal in discount. We'll see. This 4-hour candle, though, looks crazy. Looks crazy. We're pretty heavy here that I'd probably want to wait for this this breaker to form. I know we have this for value up here, and it is nested with this breaker, overlapping with this breaker. But we're so heavy right now that if we are to go long, I want to see actual proof. Right now, we just watch the sell side of the curve develop. That's kind of been the play. Every day I come on here, I start streaming. I fade a short because it doesn't really meet my criteria. There's one day that I met my criteria. Well, two. One day I still faded. And we see a sell off. And I'm sitting here just twiddling my thumbs. Seems to be the playbook. Happened yesterday. Happening today. Possible 10 a.m. reversal? Yeah, it's possible. We need to see SMT hang around though. What about YM taking the PM high of yesterday? Yeah, yeah. Why I tend to not really look at YM for SMTs when it's doing the complete opposite. Trend, everyone's going to get FOMO. They're going to try to trade continuations or reversals, and I can see it just chopping for the rest of the morning. So like this could just be another dud, a dud morning. There's ES taking that low. Just wait for PM to catch move. Yeah. They really were. A little bit. I can see why. They do this shit all the time. They don't take the Pico high, but they take like a 1 a.m. high, right? That's just for me, not my type of setup. Like if I'm taking pre-market trades, they're gonna be clean. They're not gonna be taking like 1 a.m. liquidity when we have like liquidity resting right there. We have S&T there. It's just, yeah, one of those kind of, you have to just accept that you missed it, right? Do you consider 515 to 545? Wait. Yeah, that's pretty. I wouldn't consider it a breaker. I'd just say if we close below here, you want to see these lows act as resistance to keep price lower. But like in terms of the range that we're developing here, yeah, if we do close below it, depending on how much we want to sell off, I'd like to see if we're going to use this low as resistance to continue to trade lower, then I want to see this kind of be in a premium of this current range we're forming. So like I'd want to see us Like, you know, like what I mean is like, I want to see this be a premium array. Because if it's gonna reverse or not reverse, retrace from here, then like the array is likely gonna be the premium array that we could short from is likely gonna be like up here or inside of this 15-minute breaker. But yeah, it is a breaker. It's the 5:30 to 5:45. Those two down close candles. You could just say the 5:45 though. It's a big enough candle. Such a shame I wanted to see Asia high get taken out. I was expecting 9:30 to sweep the Asia high. Yeah, me too. And that's all right. I mean, you're not going to catch every move. It's totally okay. You know, can we make a case for this? Does this have all the criteria? You know, like from a foundation perspective, like does it have all the criteria that you need to see for a short? Yeah, absolutely. Does it have the highest probability? For me, no. I'd rather just see the Asia high. That would probably make things a lot different for me. I'm very selective with my pre-market trades. And even though this one worked out, it doesn't change anything for me. I'm not going to get recency bias and say, oh, it worked yesterday. I'm going to take a lower probability SMT today. Like, no, I'm just going to stick to what I know. I'm not going to change anything. You shouldn't just change your plan because of what a certain day did. Just stick to the plan. Don't really have anything in here to suggest we're going to change. I imagine this is just a retracement to get sold again. Actually going to go use the washroom. I'll be right back. ICT says 951 for value gap. No, there's no breaker here. We don't even have like a clear SMT. We have 951 for value gap for what? For shorts? For shorts, I wouldn't even short because we're in such a discount. I wouldn't go long here because we don't even have an institutional swing point. I think he's tilted. IFEG, yeah, no. Don't take that bait. Because this 9 a.m. candle, look what this 9 a.m. candle's done. This 9 a.m. candle is about to close through the low of day. This candle was not designed to go higher whatsoever. 10 a.m., I could see opening up and sweeping. Nah, Unk is... no. No. Ignore him, please. What did I say about, right? What did I say about IFEGs? You want to only take them when they're nested with a breaker. Do we have a breaker here? The highest one is up here, but that ain't even really clear. That's a massive swing. No one's longing that. This could sweep that low. If he's long here, he's probably cooked, in my opinion. Unless we frame some consecutive candle SMT, with 10 a.m., but I anticipate this low to go. Now would be a great time for him to tune in so I could ask him what his thought process for that was. Because that's just pattern trading IFEGs. There's no logic applied there. Okay. ES take that low. NQ take that low. No SMT. The only SMT we have is still at this February 3rd low. And we have SMT with the 6 a.m. lows with YM. That's about it. He just said he wanted to see if that gap holds his IFEG. Yeah, but there's no world in which I would ever anticipate this IFEG to hold price higher. No world. It's just the lowest probability you can get. Like, this is pattern trading IFEGs. Where's Michael trading? Yeah, I don't know if he's trading. He's just got his Telegram group that he he gives his analysis. Do I have any opinions on Dodgy? Nope. I'm not gonna go there. I think he's a nice guy. No, I'm not gonna use my platform to give my opinions on people or anything like that. That's just not. It's just a negative. It's just focusing on negativity. It's such a low EV, low ROI type thing to just spend time complaining about others or whatever. Like, I don't know Dodgy at all. Do I trade like him? No. And that's fine. .300 move and no entry. Yeah. The only one is this 5 minute for value gap, which, as we know, I am not in on. And I'm cool with it. If anything, this just gives me information for later, and I can trade with a higher probability logic in mind. Can you take two trades on Apex PA because of their consistency rule? I have no idea. I don't trade with Apex. Got this high here. Yeah, YM's in a 50-minute BISI. We haven't taken that low yet. Nah, I don't really use NWOG and NDOG. Not a whole lot. How come? Because I don't need them. I'll use them for like fair value, but like I really don't. I haven't found them to be a contributing factor to more success within my model, so I don't really need them a whole bunch. Never back tested them. Never really cared for them. I don't use RTH gaps. I don't use NWOGs, NDOGs, nothing like that. I just kind of use them as like internal range liquidity, if anything, but I don't have like any sort of like groundbreaking information on them. If we get above this 10:02 high and get up into that 10 a.m. open, like that's something that I could find interesting for retracement. I want that to be dotted. Right, because you have your clear swing low, swing high, lower, swing low. I'm not exactly looking for longs though. I just want to see. That's the only thing that I can see right now. 10 a.m. kind of opened and just immediately dumped, which makes sense because look at what 9 a.m. did. 9 a.m., 8 a.m. formed the SMT. 9 a.m. was a continuation off of that. 10 a.m. has been so far a continuation off of that too. So don't be so eager for longs. Right? Keep these lows in mind. I actually want to mark out this low of the month here too. Oopsie. Looks like it's going to be just a catch a continuation day later. Just be retracements for continuations, honestly. Same type of playbook as yesterday. Close below. Old lows, use them as resistance. Right? You can see from this expansion, right, that those lows that we closed through were in premium. That's where we saw our continuation from. I want the same thing to occur today. So you got to just sit and be patient. We just had a nearly 300-point move. We could potentially move in a range for a bit. Still here. I'm just contemplating things, life. I appreciate you guys being here. I really do. 121 of you buggers. I really enjoy doing these streams. It's been almost a month of doing them. I set out to in January, beginning of February. I set out to just stream as much as I could. And it's been an awesome experience. Yeah, I don't use both, DJ. I explained how I use them. To me, they're just an inefficiency. They're fair value gaps. Essentially, I use them in the same way. Can you show me proper order block, how it looks, please? I have a hard time getting what right type of OB is. Proper order block. So for order blocks, right, there's specific criteria that you need. So order block, it needs to take liquidity, and it needs to be typically like a beefy candle, a big candle, or rather, let's say a candle with a big body, right? You don't want to see it, be like a super indecisive candle. You want to see these pieces of criteria. Let's find an example. Let's find an example. It's right here. From last week, Wednesday, February 19th, this 2 p.m. candle ran up, traded above these Asia highs, took liquidity. That's step one. Step one, done. Step two, big beefy candle. Yep. Also created SMT with ES here. Take that body of that candle, draw it out in time. That's your order block. Look at what happens. We retrace to it on Friday, and we get an absolute sell-off of the masses. That's an order block. Now, if you want to zoom in and like fractalize it from here, you can look even further. Friday. Actually want to draw that order block out so you guys can really see the fractal nature of these OBs. There's that order block. That's on the hourly. Let's go to a time frame aligned time frame. Big beefy candle takes liquidity right here, 840. Takes old liquidity as well. Trade below it. In this case, it doesn't use the bodies. It uses the full candle. You can see close below it. Use it as resistance. What happens? Big sell-off. Now, I don't use order blocks that much, to be frank with you. I use breakers, okay? I believe that an order block does not exist without a breaker. Because if order blocks, if key components of order blocks are that they take liquidity, then, and a breaker's key component is that it takes liquidity too. I see that the highest probability order blocks always are formed from breakers. This is a breaker here. Swing high, swing low, higher swing high that takes liquidity. The breaker candle sets up the order block. Markets don't reverse without a swing point like this or like this, where you have a failure swing. But I need to see that. you're going to have your breaker there, and you're going to have your order block nested. Same thing over here. Look on the hourly. What's this? There's that breaker, or there's that order block. There's a breaker here on the low time frame on the 15-minute. I'd bet. Yep. Swing low, swing high, lower swing low, higher swing high. Breaker sets up the order block. That's how you find real order blocks. Yeah, I always need SMT. I don't consider anything without SMT. How do you choose the entry level, breaker body, or wick? I just use the entire breaker candle. I don't really care about the entering on the body. I'm not a perfectionist. I just, if we form the breaker, I enter. Been in here for a week. Please stream every day. I think I can learn a lot from you. I would love to stream every day, but I can't stream every day. I have other commitments. I have no intention of being a full-time YouTube streamer. I'll stream when I can, but you know, as it stands right now, I have my other community that I work within, the lab. That's where I stream majority of the time. And when I'm not streaming in there, I do try my best to stream in here. Because I do think that it is it's good practice to get on and stream, and I enjoy helping others genuinely. Do you always enter in market order? Yeah, I don't limit order. I've been missed too many times to limit order. SMT with Feb 3rd low. I mean, we've had that for a while. What we can see is ES is nearing this February low here. Yeah. We've had that SMT for a while. Now it's taken. Like, we're going for these lows here. This is just like, don't catch a falling knife, guys. Just because you missed the short doesn't mean you have to look long to revenge it. You just have to sit with it. And like just make peace with it. That's all. So now we're seeing, right? Remember what I said? If we're gonna go short from this area later on, I want to see it be in the premium. Look at where it is. It is now in premium of the expansion. So now that makes this low actually a good area to short from if it wants to. It doesn't have to. It can depending on how heavy it is, which it looks pretty damn heavy. It could just utilize like a quick tap into it for value gap and then go. I would join the lab, but it costs around double the amount I'd want to pay for a year's membership. Yeah, that's fine. I think the amount of I'm biased, of course, right? The amount of value you get from that Discord is quite staggering in comparison to what you're paying for. But yeah, no. If you feel that it's too much, then that's fine. I'm not here to sell you on it. Quite frankly, I think it's a community that sells itself. So, when and if we start to make our way back up, how do you decide if it's a retracement to move lower or a run to Asia highs? Oh, I'd need a lot of information to confirm that this is going to be a full-fledged reversal. I'd probably need to see like hourly breakers start to form. No, we don't have a lifetime price. Like right now, any buys you take are going to be retracements. Just full stop. The market's trending right now. Expansion, retracement, expansion, retracement, expansion, retracement. Just sell the retracements. Me, just wasn't really yesterday and today. Now we're starting to see a trend. We form SMT with like short-term liquidity, but not with external liquidity. Happened yesterday, happened today. Now we have kind of a weekly playbook. Like that's the weekly play. So keep an eye on that for the rest of the week. Every week there's like a signature that goes. There's a signature that happens. This week it seems to be give a shitty SMT and dump it. Hey Bradley. Looking for long when ES take that low to the 15-minute breaker. Don't count your chickens before they shit, KW. Just look for signatures. So mark out that February low. Most definitely mark out that February low. And then you want to wait for a breaker. So you want to see something like this, right? Oopsie. You want to see something like this for them, right? Where you have a clean breaker. But right now, there's nothing. So as much as everyone says traders aren't reaction-based performers, like they are. We don't anticipate all the time. We react to what price is showing us. If you're constantly, if you don't react, then like you're basically insinuating that you know what's going to happen next, which just isn't the case. I'm just timid after what happened to TOTK because I feel bad for the people that paid for Discord and got WAP. I'll tell you right now, the lab is nothing like TOTK, and I can speak strictly from experience. I can speak strictly from experience. There's a reason I left. We're not going to get into it because, again, I'm not here to be negative. But it's a lot different, and I understand your apprehension. Yeah, exactly, Bradley. Happens a lot. What if we didn't sell off as hard as we did at the 6 a.m. low? Could you have been interested in longs? Yeah, if it showed me any sort of sign that we were going to go low, that we were going to go long. If we held that SMT and we formed a breaker, I probably would have been in 100%, but we didn't get a single lick of that. So how long do you wait to look for a setup if you don't get one between 9:30 and 11? Depends on delivery. In this case, I'm probably going to wait for the PM session. I'm not going to force a retracement unless a super clean one comes my way. All I can see right now is if ES wants to take February low, I'm going to mark up this 15-minute breaker. Okay. Here's what I think can happen. ES takes February low. NQ forms a breaker taking -4 standard deviations of the 50-minute breaker. That's determining a max expansion. We have a lot of internal range to retrace to. I can see retracements occur from there. It's 1025. I can see 1030 opening, open low, tag that -4, and then go higher from there. That would be something that I can get behind. As it stands right now, we're not seeing anything. But that's what I'd be looking for. I'm actually going to mark that in red. There's so many orange lines on my chart otherwise. That's what I'm looking at. But that's simply merely just a thought. If it plays out, I think I'd have some confidence in that. Because this February low is actually a pretty significant liquidity pool for ES and for NQ. And if we form S&T at it, then that is 100% something that I'd be looking for a reaction out of. Ay, 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 ay. I'm curious. Um, Sorry, mysterious stranger. To answer your question, um, I kind of just trade from like macro to macro. So I don't necessarily have like a point in time where I say like, oh, I'm done. I'm gonna, wait. Like I basically my what dictates my engagement in the market is obviously what order flow is telling me, but also based off risk management. Like if I took some losses, if I took some losses, then I'd probably be a little more, done for the day. But I'm flat in the morning here. I took that one loss overnight and now I'm just kind of watching. So like I'm not exactly counting myself out. I'm not wishing the time away by any means. I just have to kind of wait for something that does align with what I can see is high probable. And this is kind of what I'm looking at right now. So is it just me or is continuation trades hard to do? They are hard to do because sometimes they take a while to pan out and it's hard to anticipate, which of these fair value gaps is gonna reject price lower. So many um so many factors, right? Some things you could do, right, is look for premium and discount, right? This one may not work because it's in discount of this range. So you may want to target up here, right? So a lot of things you have to take into account. Also, what kind of inefficiencies are we forming on the high time frame? If I'm anticipating 1030 to give us a run into this -4 to go higher, then I'm anticipating this 1 hour candle to form a wick. Maybe it wicks up into here, and then maybe we get an 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock consolidation for 1 o'clock to tag into this hourly SIBI here from 9 a.m., tag these lows, and then go lower from there. That would be like, in an ideal world, that is just money. But you got to be careful because no one's saying that we can't just tag this 15-minute SIBI that we're about to form up here and then continue to dump. But that's why you have to have signs and criteria in place to confirm continuations, right? So you want to see liquidity and or a fair value gap to get tagged. High time from POI. You want to see SMT. You want to see a breaker in macro window, right? You want to see these three things. That's going to give you the confidence that you need to stay in a trade or to even consider one. There's usually a reversal around the 10:50, 11 o'clock macro. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. There's usually a 9:30 Judas, but there wasn't one today, right? It's just specific criteria allows for specific things. If we're basing off of weekly characteristic, then yeah, absolutely. We have the characteristic of a 9:30 dump and a 10:50 retracement. What happened yesterday? 10:50 retracement to where? Premium. Then what happens? PM continuation. So like take these weekly characteristics and keep them in mind. right? So I'm already like looking at, okay, if 1030 gives us something, then yeah, I'm interested. But I can anticipate that, hey, we just amassed like a full 300, almost 400 points. I can fully be okay with the market going into a choppy delivery for a bit because we've just expanded a decent bit. We've hit projections. We can go into consolidation. The market doesn't have to just dump and then immediately retrace. No, it's what it might do is it might consolidate for the next hour and then generate liquidity on the high and the low. Pop that low and then you get your continuation, right? Can do all those things. Never fun not being in a move, but such a good reminder there is still value in tape reading. When not in trades, our minds shift and we can really sit back and see what the market is doing. Exactly. If you allow yourself to sit and tape read, so many people might, like, I used to see these moves and I just like go into like contrarian mode and I just immediately want to like go against this idea. I missed this, therefore I have to go back the other way. It's weird. It's an egotistical thing. There's the February low on ES, by the way. It's good to watch. It's good practice, right? And like let's have a little bit of perspective here. Let's not have perception or perception. Let's have perspective, okay? Let's look at this from a broader, lens. What did we miss? We missed a 400-point move. How many times in a year does this happen? And this is speaking to the people that are feeling, tilted because they missed this move. How often does this happen? Lots. How many trading days are there in a year? Over 200. And we're not even halfway through one of them. So don't wish the time away. If you miss a setup, who cares? Just wait for the next one. They're like buses. Setups are like buses. You can get one like every hour if you want. You can get one every 15 minutes if you want, if your model dictates it. Focus on what the tape is telling you and just act accordingly. Would you take a trade outside? Outside what? Like outside in the elements? I'm trolling, but what do you mean by outside? Outside macro? No. My breakers need to form or confirm inside of macro windows. Okay, what do we got here? 15-minute consecutive candle S&T with the S at 10:30. ES also took that February low. Now this is one of those like this is pretty cheeky because you technically have a breaker here. Is that something that I'm willing to take? Well, if it forms, then that would suggest that this SMT on a consecutive candle basis has formed. And this would just be like a fractal breaker. It could very well happen. This with that SMT could dictate that if this high gets ran, that this could be a breaker to take. And that this low is actually going to be protected because of the SMT followed by the breaker formation. So is it clean as day? I don't know. Bradley, if you're still in here, is that what you're thinking too? Because that's kind of my thought process behind it. It's ugly, but it is valid. I'd rather take something else, personally, but time is that breaker 10:26. Yeah, def valid. Just need to see the high get taken. I want to see this breaker form using some standard deviation. Oh, did I already miss my entry? I did. I gotta enter there. I didn't see this cheeky little 1030. Okay, we're long, by the way. Anticipating retracement. That looks nice. There's the breaker formed. So I missed this already, kind of. I was yapping, but we have this. This is technically swing low, swing high, lower, swing low. This 1030 candle is technically a breaker. I could have entered early. That's why I entered before this candle formed, because I knew that the breaker was already there and that this one may not. This one is likely to form already. Am I trading minis? No. Micros. I'm actually going to close that, by the way, because I don't like to watch my trade. I don't like to watch the position. I like to just watch the candles. Okay, first order of business. This 5-minute SIBI needs to delete SMT. There's no breaker really here anyhow, but my stop is at this very low. I'm not going to put it below that low because I can still see, you know, maybe it wants to chop about and take that low. But best case scenario is we just see an expansion straight out of here to -2. That would be best case. There's that SMT deleted. Keep an eye on that 10 a.m. SIBI across ESYM and NQ. For those looking where the entry is, it is not sexy. Preferably just like to see speed through it, truth be told. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like you see how the 1.5 lines up with the SIBI here? Like I'm eager to manage risk tight on this. I thought you would wait for 1045 11:15. No, I never said I would wait for it. I said it's a weekly characteristic that can happen. I'm not going to just ignore a setup that's staring me in the face. Just because it didn't print in a time that I thought that it would, right? That's forcing my will. No, I don't really leave room. Again, that's forcing my will. Because what happens if this expands and it just doesn't give me an ad? Then I'm pissed off that I wasn't positioned appropriately. I just enter once and that's it. I don't care. This is like pretty much right around where I wanted to enter anyway. It's like a 5-handle difference. It's fine. If it comes back down into here, I don't care. I don't care. Hey, Brandon. Thanks for stopping in, brother. So no SMT on a 15-minute basis. This could be a retracement to get in if you are taking the breaker. I'm already in though. But yeah, retracements like this, they don't exactly worry me. And like, yeah, in this scenario, if I entered here on like a partial position, I could have added down here, absolutely. But like, I don't like to do that because that's just like insinuating that I'm anticipating retracement, which doesn't always happen. I'd rather just get in and sit with it. I want to see us bounce up out of here though. Like I said, that first sign of trouble is probably going to be this 50 minutes Sibi up here. We're forming a new one, which isn't lovely. But Feb low taken, consecutive candle SMT breaker. It's possible. Until I see either my stop loss get tagged or I see SMT and a breaker form against my trade. I'm big chilling. Big chilling. Okay, there's why I'm inside of that 15-minute Sibi. Now, if we go and we take this high here and then we form that breaker, that tells me that I got to get up. Mr. Silver Bullet, how's it going? Regarding this setup, is this a trade you'd rate as A plus and go full size on? It follows my model. Is it like a full slap? No, but like I don't size my trades based off of grading. It follows my model, so I enter. That's it. There's no breaker here. I don't want to see this just reject. Hi, Blade. Clear entry and clear exit protocol. Yeah. So many people just get into a trade and they're like, well, let's see what happens. That's so bizarre to me. No, have ideas. At this moment in time, we have that SMT at this 15-minute Sibi, right? Do we have a breaker to confirm that I'm likely wrong? Not yet. Yeah, click and pray, seriously. There's three. I want you guys to write this down. If you are having trouble managing your trades, or you don't know how to manage your trades, there's three things that should get you out of your trades. Stop loss, take profit, model forming against you. Right now, my model is not forming against me. Therefore, I can cancel that out. We're not near my TP, so right now, nothing to worry about there. The only thing that I have, the closest invalidation point I have to my trade being a loser is the stop loss. Or me being out of my trade is a stop loss. That's it. Looking for EQ of the range. Where would that be? Yeah, 2.5. I'm looking for -2, -2.5, and then potentially 10 a.m. open. That's what I'm eyeing. But remember, right? This could chop. This may not deliver right away. Would it be nice if it did? Yeah. Does it mean that we're wrong if it doesn't? No, because the breaker formed rather quickly. If we consolidate after the breaker forms, I don't care. If anything, I just like kind of sit. I just go and do other shit. But right now, we're kind of watching to see if my model wants to form against me or not. What advice would you give to someone who wants to grow from a 33% win rate? Um, if you don't have a model, develop one and backtest it, and go into your journal and look at what losses you're taking that is giving you that win rate. Like, I have to know a few things first. Like, do you have a model, and do you have does your model have a specific win rate? Have you back tested over hundreds and hundreds of trades? If you haven't, go do that. If you have and you're not seeing the results that your back testing strategy has given, that your back testing data has given, if there's a clear dichotomy between the two, then you should go back into your journal and look at what's causing you to take those losses. Why are you seeing a lower win rate? Also, if let's say, for example, let's say that you have back tested your model over like 500 plus trades, preferably 1,000, and you have like a 65% win rate, and you just have a 33% win rate this month, don't do anything. Just keep executing, because short-term results are random. Right? There's not always a reason for why your trade was wrong. If you like follow your model consistently and to the T, then and you're just seeing 1 month where you have a lower win rate, don't sweat it. Don't sweat it. Okay, so I just did an experiment, and I want to show something to you. Okay, what I just did was I flipped a coin 15 times. Okay, I would have flipped it 20, but 15 will do. Okay, of those coin flips, okay, let's assume obviously the coin, there's two options, right? Heads or tails. That's a 50-50 chance. Okay, not taking into account, the spins, etc., or the flips or whatever. Like, let's assume it's just 50-50 across the board, which it likely is. Okay. Out of those 15 flips, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of them were tails. 5 of them were heads. So 10 divided by 15. Okay. It's a 50-50 shot, but 66%, 67% of the time you had heads or tails. 33.333% of the time you had heads. That's what I mean about short-term results being random and the law of large numbers not working in your favor. Okay? If you do this over 500 sequences, you're probably going to get closer to that 50-50, okay? So don't get all wigged out because your model's not performing as good as it could be within the last 2 weeks. Your edge doesn't care about the last 2 weeks. Your edge cares about how consistently can you dedicate yourself to executing that edge over time, okay? I wanted to do that, and I wanted to show you guys the actual results. I can't prove it to you unless I flipped it on camera, but who wants to watch me do that? Okay, we're coming up into that 15-minute SIBI. ES has tagged it. YM is ripping. NQ is near it. How are we doing for the trade? Everything looks good. I'll be honest with you. I kind of want to go break even, or not, close to break even pretty soon. I kind of want to trail to this low. But I want to see us get up into my partial area first. Does everyone understand like the importance of what I just said about that short-term results thing? That's like some key information. And it should kind of flip a switch in your brain to make you think a little bit more longer term. Yep, 1050 macro. We got in a little earlier. Pair that with risk management. Yeah, you can make any model work as long as you have good risk management. I won't say perfect because perfect doesn't exist, but good risk management. You can do quite well with any model. You just have good risk management. I want to see this 50-minute SIBI get deleted or get traded into and delete that SMT. Hey, J Soul. Good shit, buddy. Just did the coin flip and got tails 9 times and had 6. Yeah. Do it. And then, I mean, don't sit there and flip the coin 500 times. But like the closer you get, the larger the number gets, the closer the edge sets in. Like imagine if your model was heads. You're batting a 33% win rate. Does your job change though? No, because it's only over 15 trades. Your job is to just keep on flipping and keep on picking heads. That's it. Nice trade. Not yet. We'll see. This is a nice trade regardless of the result, by the way. I want to see this continue. I don't want to see this SMT hold. It's at a discount. It's a discount SMT. It's not the best. This candle was designed to go higher. I think we're going to go higher from here. Up into -2. At what point would I be my stop? Once we get above here, if we delete this SMT, so what I'm looking for, okay? Here's what I'm anticipating. I want to see this SMT get deleted with the 15-minute SIBI. That leaves a whole new inefficiency to get traded into to form SMT at. So what I want to see is us get above this high. From there, I want to see us get into this area, the -2 to -2.5 standard deviation of this breaker. That is where I will partial, and then I will go break even. As of right now, I am Still sitting fully risked. I'm not going to jam my stop here because that isn't really protected for me. Yes, it's a breaker. Yes, it's inside of the macro. It formed inside the 1050 macro, but there's no high time from SMT to suggest that this low is protected. That's all. Now we're starting to see, right, this hourly candle is starting to form a wick. I want to see that wick kind of get a little bit bigger. And then that can give me a case for 11 o'clock to kind of continue to trade higher into premium. Now, max pain would be is if it goes and forms this, this breaker down here. That would be painful. But until it happens, we don't do anything. This 5-minute candle also IFVG'd. And like now we're tagging into the propulsion block here. Looks good. No, I don't stream every day. I don't stream every day. I'm doing it twice this week. Today and Thursday. I'll be streaming on YouTube. Okay, that's a nice rejection. I want to see this hold. I want to see this continue to bounce up here. Keep it moving. Hey, Lee. Oh. YM is nearing that 10 a.m. open. I mean, YM's been the bullish one today anyhow. We have this 15-minute candle closes in like a minute. I'd like to see us invert this, preferably. Does it need to for my idea to remain valid? No, it'd just be nice to see. It's not imperative that it does it, but looking like it may not unless we reject hard here. But like I said, it's not imperative that it does it. It just might suggest that we may see a little bit of a retracement or we might see some chop. Now, what can change my idea is if we invert this, that might change things for me, which sucks because I really liked this entry. If this inverts, I might have to fucking close here, which does really suck. But it tells me that we're likely going to go into a choppy delivery for a bit. Like it might want to sweep this low again. And this is a really shitty way for my model to form against me because it's not even in premium of the range or nothing. But like I said earlier, it doesn't have to print to a premium range to continue lower. If anything, it could print this, and it could be a sign that it's extremely heavy. Did we get a dub? We are in the midst of a trade, and we'll see if it's a dub. Why did I think we would retrace where we did, aside from the 1-minute breaker being formed? The 1-minute breaker was the least important part. We had consecutive candle SMT. We had ES taking a logical area where we can bounce from, being the Feb low. So, by the way, I'm just going to watch and see this. I want to see this 5-minute candle reject. I'll close if we actually displace below this breaker. I'm going to give it some room to breathe. SMT at this low of the month. Consecutive candle SMT with this low. We could see retracement. 10 a.m. candle kind of opened up and immediately ran lower. I'd want to see retracement anyhow. And it's just part of the model, right? Stop at break even? No. What do I think about Goldbach? I think you shouldn't use it. You could see this just kind of sweep. I don't like it though. If it closes below, I'm out. And I'm probably going to take a loss. Slight loss. This is being a bugger for sure. I'm giving it room to do its thing though, because there's nothing saying this low is protected. Nothing at all. And this is like not really a premium inefficiency to anticipate shorts from anyhow, so just kind of want to let it breathe a bit. $15-minute, yeah, I know we have 15 minutes to be SMT. We talked about that way before. That's old news, brother. But I need to wait to see my model form against me on a bigger scale than just this IFUG here. I want to see this logo. I want to give my trade the best chance it deserves. So it's either going to fucking go stop me out here, or it's actually going to close here and I'm going to be able to get out with a slight loss. Yeah. Oh, sorry, Bradley. I missed your question. So for me, like, yeah, I mean, I probably already explained it. Okay, I'm out, guys. I'm not dealing with this. I'll wait. Smaller loss. Really not fucking with it. Yeah, I could have closed here. Yes, it does technically follow the model, but this low to me wasn't really protected anyhow. So like I could definitely make a case for a sweep there. So I wanted to just give it a little bit more room, that's all, and then see if we do indeed, form that breaker there. Now I'm anticipating this low to go, and then we just may get our retracement later. Don't worry, you could be me and miss the short of the century. Hey, I missed it too. Now, hey, now Mona's gonna be on you about not catching that cane. By the way, she's gonna be on your ass. I faded it too, truthfully. I wanted other things, but it was nice. Got stopped out at slightly more than break even for me. I moved stop up when ES hit the 50 minutes area. Yeah, that's fine. NQ making my nightmares come true here when I set up here. Okay, worst case scenario, breaker formation here of this breaker would be max pain. Look at what it does. Yeah, I agree, Bradley. Now we're setting up kind of a higher time frame breaker, right? So that does kind of, yeah, it brings more comfort for longing later on. We still have this -4 here. So what I'd like to see is I want to see NQ take that low and I want to see ES fail too. Why do I want to see ES not take that 1030 low? Because ES has already taken sufficient sell side in the February low. NQ hasn't really taken anything. So if we could see NQ take that low and ES fail to, frame SMT, like that would be another long. So like it would be kind of, it would look something like this. Something like that. I gotta check the balance because I know. So I took the loss from Asia, right? And then we just took a partial loss there. So down, yeah, under 2R, but still. Executed accordingly. Management here was fine. You know, I'm giving my trade the ample opportunity it needs to perform. I'm not jamming my stop nowhere. And that's speaking from a position of I used to be someone that jammed my stops and had a lot shittier win rate because of it. M1 market maker sell model? Sure, I guess. This is just a high time frame consolidation, really. We're just chopping at these lows. What do I mean by jam my stops? Move them before they need to be moved. So like if I'm long here, like I didn't jam my stop to break even here because I've seen it happen so many times where it it comes and takes me break even and then goes in my direction. So like that's why I have a strict, stop loss TP or model forming against me criteria for getting out of my trades. And then in terms of how I manage my trades, I don't go to break even until I get up into like -2. Because that's the first sign of trouble that I can get to before we see retracement. Like this is just telling me that it's not ready to go higher yet. I still think we do, but I think it's just probably got other things in mind. I move my stops too and it messes me up. Yeah, well, of course it would, right? Because what are you doing? Your stop loss is part of your edge. It's part of your back tested strategy, and it is most definitely one of the most contributing factors, if not the highest contributing factor to your win rate. So if you move your stop, you're effectively doing your model a disservice and you're changing your win rate. And that's because the reason why people move their stops too soon is because they spend their entire time in their trade looking at the dollar amount. I know that sucks to hear, but it's the truth. We were in that trade and I barely ever had this part of my screen open because I don't care. I'm trading the chart, not my P&L. And people doing tight stops are only doing it for club. Like, I'm sorry, but a 1 minute SMT isn't going to fucking make or break your trade. It's not an invalidation point. An invalidation point is where you have a high time frame breaker, or sorry, a high time frame POI, a breaker tagging into it, and you have SMT. Those are protected lows, not a 1 minute fucking SMT. Or a 15-second SMT. Yeah, even worse. Even worse. uh, 10 after 11, guys. I gotta go have a bite to eat and make a coffee and such. So I'm gonna call it here. Okay. Um, what I'm looking for the afternoon is I want to see kind of similar to yesterday. I want to see a retracement into a premium, and I'd like to see continuation later. What would delete that idea is if every single one of the assets takes this low from 10.15 and we just see continuation lower. Fab low is on my mind. If we can kind of form some liquidity here and then get a continuation set up later, I'd be looking at that. But right now, like we're kind of on a wait and see basis. Um, This looks like it's retracing a bit. I don't see a breaker at all. I'm fine with getting out here at a small loss. Just the one trade on the day, I'll show you the execution for those that joined late. Entry using this breaker. That breaker there. Got some good profit, saw some SMT at these highs, went and formed a breaker, tagged us into drawdown, got out on formation of the breaker, which was closing below this low. Managed the trade quite well, in my opinion. I gave it the best shot it had to work out, and then it showed me signs that it wouldn't. Now, what we're seeing is this is likely to me just suggesting that it's just not ready to go. I don't think that this is going to be like the high that takes us takes us lower. I think we kind of do still get up and then get lower. I want to see a premium array. That's what I'm looking at. That's the only execution from today. There was a loss in Asia from like last night that I took. So down about a collective of like just under 2R, 1.5R, something like that. I don't know, 900. So yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in so much. Honestly, these streams are a highlight of my day. I like coming on here and yapping at y'all. So hopefully you guys learned something. I know I did. I always learn something when I do these streams, and I enjoy doing them. So with all that being said, guys, take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your week. I will speak to you guys on Thursday. I have a stream on Thursday morning at 9:15, same time as today. And let's kill it the rest of the week here. Okay, lots of week left. If you took a loss, who cares? If you took a win, who cares? Follow your model, journal, be good. Okay, we'll speak to you guys soon. Okay, take care.